Adapt Namaskar Mudra. Let us pray to the sage Patanjali for the true knowledge of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. Yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. We bow down to the sage Patanjali who gave us yoga for the purification of the chitta, Sanskrit grammar for the purification of speech, and Ayurveda for purification of the body. Okay, dear friends, today we are going to discuss about Samadhi. Okay, Patanjali is describing the Ashtanga Yoga, and the last limb of the Ashtanga Yoga is Samadhi. How does Patanjali define it? Tadev arth matra nirbhasam swarupa shunyam iva samadhi. Okay, so tad, that, iva, as it were, object, only shining, and the own form is devoid or absent. So it is a state of the chitta where only the object, where the chitta is focused, is shining forth, whereas the observer, the self who is observing, he has become a shunya, has dissolved. So only the observed, the act of observation and the observer, all three just merge into what is observed. So there is no observer, there is no act of observation, only the observed reveals or shines forth its true nature. So, does anybody recollect in the Patanjali's Yoga Sutra this Tadevartha Matra Nirbhasa? Does it come any time before this sutra? फर्स्ट चैप्टर में आता है क्या कहीं पे तदेवार्थ मात्र निर्भास? आफ्टर दैट सूत्र स्मृति परिशुद्धो, व्हाट इज दैट? कैन यू टेल? स्वरूप शून्य तदेवार्थ मात्र निर्भासम, स्वरूप शून्यम, that is nirvitarka, that is the sutra, no? So see, Patanjali ends Ashtanga Yoga at Samadhi, you know, but when we look at the first chapter, Samadhi Pada, Patanjali further describes 8 types of Samadhi. So Ashtanga Yoga bring you up to Samadhi, and from Samadhi to Nirbija Samadhi, there are further 8 steps. So it is Antaranga Yoga, and once you reach that level, then within, you know, there are different layers of purification that happen. So the purification of the chitta in Ashtanga Yoga, it ends at Nirvitarka Sabija Samadhi. Okay, and it means that your chitta has got purified, but it has got purified only of the vrittis which are dynamic, you know, which are not allowing you to perceive things as they are. What does vritti do? Vritti doesn't allow me to perceive the object as it truly is. So I want to perceive something in its real true nature. Whatever that will obstruct it is a vritti. Now, My question to you is, do you agree with me? How many agree? My question is, whatever that blocks the true observation of the object is a vritti. You understood? How many of you agree with me? Those who agree, I am going to ask another question to you. You agreed with me? If you agree, then please tell me how pramana is a vritti. Anyone who raised hand? If you agree that vrittis block the perception of the object as it is, then how pramana, pratyaksha anumana agamaha, pratyaksha pramana is a vritti? Okay, I am perceiving it, my own projections are coming viparyaya. I am not able to perceive, just lost in the artha, jnana, object, words, vikalpa. I am sleeping, nidra. Smriti, past memories come and block my perception, smriti. But pramana, pratyaksha, how is that an obstruction in perceiving the object as it is? One by one.
The last, there is no observer observing, only observed.
So, what is happening in pratyaksha?
All the three are there.
What did you want to say?
So to perceive that, we have go further with Anumana, Apopadesha, other pramana. Pratiksha is just the basic.
No, but pramana includes pratyaksha, anumana, agamaha. That is the pramana vritti. So I think Gautam answered it very beautifully. According to yoga, true nature of the object, it goes with quantum physics also. As soon as I observe, the way the electrons behave is different. When you don't observe, they behave differently. As soon as you observe, their pattern, their waveform, it collapses. So, yoga says that even when you are, through your senses, perceiving the objects as they are not exactly as you perceive. It is the samskara of the observer that is still coloring the perception in pramana also. So, the observer, even if he is perceiving it as it is through the senses, there is still a coloring due to the samskaras that are there in the observer, and also the very act of observation becomes an hindrance in observing the things as they are. The very act of observation. In fact, this is the point, which the Indian science realized much earlier. There was, in the philosophy, in the darshanas, there was Charvaka. He said, okay, whatever you perceive is there. After death, there is nothing. So, Charvaka was exactly like current Western model of science. Whatever I can perceive exists, whatever I can't perceive does not exist. But then what has happened to the research now? Scientists now are at a dead end. They cannot go further. Because you have understood that the whole creation is both particle as well as wave. And science believes, the whole methodology of science is on unbiased, authentic observation. Everything that the science has revealed, has got, is based on observations with precise, unbiased methodology. It has brought us up to here. But now, the very basis of science, which is observation, has become a hindrance. What will you do next? If your observation itself, no matter how minute camera you send light, it changes. If there is no light, how will you observe? If you send light, it changes. So the truth, the quest for the truth, using the process of observation, has come to a dead end. This our sages realized way back, and that they sent. Now the next leap in unraveling the secrets of this creation can only happen when you develop a technology where you can perceive with the observer dissolved. Then only the true nature of the things would be revealed. And it is then that after Charvaka, they decided, okay, outwardly it is a dead end, you can't go any further, you have to turn inwards. And then they started making their chitta like a sphatic mani. How was that? What is the example they give for chitta? Sphatic mani. Sphatic mani is very clean crystal, very clean. Wherever it is kept, it takes the shape of that, color of that, it reflects that. So then, when the chitta becomes complete tadanukara, when its vrittis are all gone, it happens in samadhi. That state, when chitta becomes like sphatic mani, and wherever it is kept, either kept on a grahya or grahita or grahan. Object, act of observation. What is happening? What is the state of my mind and senses when I am observing? The interface. And the observer, the buddhi and sattva connection. The purusha and the sattva together. The buddhi and the atman. These are the three places where you can keep your chitta. You can keep it on the object. You can keep it on the process or the action of observation, or you can keep it on the observer. When chitta is clean, like sphatic mani, and takes the shape of wherever it is kept, then that is known as samapatti. Tats anjanata samapattihi. This also comes in first chapter, correct? And then after that, Patanjali says that even in that samapatti, when shabda, artha and jnana remain along with the perception, then it is known as savitarka samadhi. So Patanjali says that the sabija, bija means still your underlying deep samskaras are not cleansed. Superficially, chitta is clean, there are no vrittis. So chitta can take the shape of the object wherever it is kept. But still, the underlying deep samskaras are there. In that, you can progress from vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita. 4 stages. So 8 stages of samadhi. Starts with vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita. In all of them, there is bija. Then there are 4 more stages where the yogi starts working on the bija, and in systematic stages goes through 4 stages to ultimately reach nirbija, clear samadhi, which is kaivalya. You understand? So before that, there is dharma make samadhi, that those they kept on the cleansing process that is happening. Now, this samadhi that you are talking about is after dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. It is antaranga yoga. It is the first preliminary step. So this samadhi, what Patanjali is talking about here, is savitarka samadhi. So savitarka samadhi, it means there are, along with the perception, there is shabda, artha, and jnana, which is coloring the observation. So what is going on? Now here, a very important thing that you have to understand is that whenever I have vitarka, vitarka means what? Vitarka is a kind of a vikalpa. It is also called as savikalpa samadhi. You have heard this word, nirvikalpa samadhi, savikalpa samadhi. So people get confused. They think that nirvikalpa is nirbija. No. Nirvikalpa is like nirvitarka. Savitarka is savikalpa. Vikalpa, you know, vikalpa is a vritti. What is the definition of vikalpa? Shabda jnana anupati vastu shunyaha vikalpaha. There is no object, but there is a name of the object. There is a knowledge about the object. There is a lot of information about the object, but there is no perception of the object. For example, I say God. There is a word. There is lot of information. There is lot of jnana. But in your perception, where is the substance? Vastu. Where is vastu? No vastu. So when all these things, the information, the name related to the object are still there, along with the perception of the object, then you are perceiving not the true essence of the object, but all the layers of the object. So the object has an essence which is known as its truth. Then it has a jnana, information about that. Then it has a name. And there is a meaning that we associate with that name. So these are all the layers when the object forms on the chitta. When my chitta is clear and I focus it on an object, it falls on my chitta. Then within my chitta, as I get into deeper and deeper samadhi, that object gets split into its name as separate thing. Hemant. Now this is stuck with this form. Now if my father had a different interest, my name would have been Vasant. So I would have been Vasant. So Hemant and what you see are not same. So Hemant goes away. Then your perception of me becomes better. When Hemant is removed, you perceive me better. Then faculty, Nimhans, doctor, our teacher, all this information is the jnana that is associated with this name. If all that goes away, all the information that you have about me goes away, and you perceive me as I am, then probably your perception about me will become better. You have seen when you mute your TV and watch, you are able to observe better details. Because the jnana that keeps coming just blocks you. Just mute your TV and watch. You will see the expressions better. You will understand the things better, background better. You will appreciate the acting of the actors better. So like that, this noise is always blocking the signal. Signal to noise ratio mein noise zyada hai, signal kam. So Patanjali says that if there is signal and noise both, Shabda, Artha, Jnana, along with perception, then you are in Savitarka Samadhi. In your chitta, there is nothing else but the object. But still the object comes with a lot of noise. So, if that Shabda, Artha and Jnana aspect of it, where is it? Where is this noise coming from? It is coming from Smriti. You have a Smriti of the object also within you. So, object is kept, Savitarka happens, and then Patanjali in the very next sutra says, Smriti Parishuddhao. So, this is very important that when you want to study about Samadhi, you understand it in proper perspective. And Patanjali describes so many methods, and after that he comes to this. I want to show you that sutra. See, the sutra that you saw and the sutra that you see now here. Samadhi definition was also exactly same, no? Swarupa Shunyam, Tadev Artha Matra Nirbhasam, Iva Samadhi. But then here Patanjali says, Smriti Parishuddha Nirvitarka. How will Nirvitarka happen? Nirvikalpa will happen. Nirvitarka is same as Nirvikalpa. Because Vitarka is Vikalpa. And Vikalpa is Shabda Jnana Anupati. So, Smriti Parishuddha Nirvitarka. And just before this sutra, you see here. Yeah. Tatra, Shabda, Arth, Jnana. Then he uses the word Vikalpahe. These are all Vikalpa. Means there is a very subtle aspect of the vritti. Sankirna. Sankirna means your perception is narrowed. You are not able to perceive it in its true essence or expanded version. Savitarka Samapattihi. Then, when Shabda, Artha and Jnana, Vikalpa is there, and then you are absorbing with the object, then that Samapatti is known as Savitarka. Patanjali doesn't even use the word Samadhi here. He uses the word Samapatti. Why? Because here still there is a tinge of observer. Okay? When Smriti Parishuddha happens, it is then he uses Nirvitarka. That also can be called as a Samapatti. Another way in which you can say that Sabija, whatever is Sabija, can be called as a Samapatti rather than a Samadhi. But Patanjali uses Samadhi in 3.3. So, fine. Samapatti means that your Samapatti also he defines. Sheen vrittehe abhijatasya. When what has happened? Vrittis have become very thin. Thin. Vrittis have become thin. And mane, jatasya eva mane. How has the chitta become? It has become like a clear crystal. Like sphatic mani, it has become. And then at 3 levels, you can keep the chitta. Grahita, that is the observer. Grahana, it is the act of observation. What is the state of my mind and my senses when the observation is going on? And Grahya. Grahya are the object. Object. Grahya is the object. What is being taken? Tats anjanata. As if the chitta is becoming the shape of that or clearly reflecting that. That is known as Samapatti. Okay? Now, very important thing to understand is, you remember yesterday we were talking when Patanjali says samyama, is it on the external object, or is it inwards? Correct? So here Patanjali says that you can keep your chitta on external object also, like grahya. Grahya, what is grahya actually? Where are you, if you are keeping chitta out, where are you exactly keeping it? According to yoga or Ayurveda philosophy, what is there out? Only Panchamahabhutas. So Patanjali is very clear. He says that when you do this samapatti or samyama on the Panchabhutas, there is Bhuta Jayaha. You remember that sutra? Toward the end of this Samadhi Pada, he actually describes, see, you have to connect this. He actually describes the result of doing Samadhi on Grahita, Grahana and Grahyesh. All the three, he describes. I think I saw that in 3.4749 and okay, 44. Now you see here. स्थूल स्वरूप सूक्ष्म अन्वय अर्थव तत्व संयमाद भूत जय. Okay, now Patanjali describes one by one within the grahya when it is external. There also there are 5 systematic steps in which you get into the core of the grahya. You do dharana, dhyana and samadhi onto that. First is sthula. Sthula is how you perceive as it is. It can be any object that is made up of Pancha Mahabhuta. So first you will observe its external gross form through your senses. That is sthula. Then when it goes to the sukshma, then you will go into the very properties of those Pancha Mahabhuta that it shows, like Prakash, Kriya and Sthiti. Those subtler aspects of its gunas. Then in Anvaya, it becomes even more subtle, where you are now reflecting its essence onto your chitta. And then Artha Tattva means what is its purpose in the creation. Like everything is serving the purpose of Bhoga and Apvarga for the Purusha. So in that process, you see that it begins externally, but then it turns completely inwards. So there is no sort of proper perception of the object if you do not turn that onto the reflection of that object on your chitta later, because you can only reach up to Shabda Artha Jnana. That Savitarka aspect only you can reach here. After that, when you want to get into the subtler aspect of samyamas, then you will see that here the true nature of the object will not be revealed. So then when you are actually able to go into the very essence of the object, Smriti Parishuddha, when that happens, and from Savitarka you get into the Nirvitarka aspect of that particular object on which you were focusing, it means your eyes have to naturally close. You have to turn completely inwards, become aware of the essence of that object, drop the Shabda, Artha, Jnana related to that object, and then ultimately in the final stage, drop the observer also. It is within you. Then you see that the person develops the capacity of Bhuta Jayaha. Like if people do it on water, they will get into very essence of water, and that will bring such transformation into their own system that they can walk on water. It means that water will not be able to sink them, because now they understand the dharma of the water completely, and they have got into the very source of it. And now, because they have also in their perception become very subtle, they can understand deeper laws and bring certain kind of a transformation within their energies, so that water doesn't make them wet or fire doesn't burn. Prahlada was sitting on the lap of Holika, his father's sister, and Holika had the power that whoever sits in her lap, she could burn, but she will not get burnt. Correct? But then Prahlada was a great devotee, and he went into Samadhi in her lap. Probably he did samayama on the fire which was there, and Prahlada did not burn. But Holika couldn't maintain her concentration, seeing that this boy is not burning. She got into anxiety, her samayama broke, and she burnt. So there are such instances. So here, this is very important that you have to go from sthul to sukshma to the very purpose of that object. Get into the very essence of that object. It is in these stages only, wherever samyama is written, it is happening. Samyama is not just you keep looking at it. It requires smriti parishuddhi. It requires shina vritti. Vrittis have to go very thin. Smriti parishuddhi should happen. And then you begin with the perception of the object, then get into your chitta. When it is reflecting on your chitta, within it, then you go into the very essence, dissecting the object with its shabda separate, artha separate, jnana separate, going into the very essence of its sukshma gunas, then going even beyond that and getting into the very purpose that the object is serving in the existence. So you unite with the essence of that object. This is known as communion. You actually get into the very tattva. And when you become one with the tattva, then you are water yourself. If I am water myself, the gunas of the water are in my control. You understand? So you become Varun Dev when you get into that samadhi. So water is the Bhuta Jaya is happening like this. And then we also see that this is when you do it on the bhutas. That is, you are doing it on the grahya. What if you do it on the grahana? That is the process of observation. So you can see here in 3.47. Grahana Swarup Asmita Anvayarth Arthav Tattva Sanyamadi Indriya Jayaha. So here Patanjali makes it clear that when I am talking about Grahana, I am talking about Indriyas, the Tanmatras, the subtler aspect of the sense organ touching the object. Whereas when I am talking about Grahya, I am talking about Panchamahabhuta. Correct? So here also he goes like that, so you are observing something, but your focus is not the object. Your focus is the very sensation that is generated, the very, act of observation through your eyes, and your mind is connected with your eyes. So your mind, your eye, and the sensation that is generated when the senses and the mind are touching the object. What kind of vritti are they coming into? What shape chitta is taking when this act of observation is going on? If you are able to do that, then whichever object that is making you slave by winning over your indriyas, you will be able to control your indriyas and you will get freedom from that object. So it carries clinical implication in substance use. So what is the way? What is the way? If you have craving for something, you have to change your awareness, the direction of your awareness. right now your awareness is completely, you have that salience towards only to the grahya, to the object. Only thing in your mind is, how do I get my next dose? Alcohol, drugs. So your salience right now is only on the object. Patanjali says that if you shift it from there, object, towards the indriyas. Okay, so I do not want the object. My tongue wants the object. Okay, so you just tell, my tongue right now is craving for chocolate. My mind is also going with my tongue. Is my tongue more powerful than me? Suddenly you will see you have the power and your tongue has become soft. But if you say, I want to eat chocolate, as soon as your asmita got there, then your tongue has become your whole existence. Then you cannot win. So this is the Indriya Jaya. Dissecting it and telling yourself that it is the object, it is the sensation that is generated when the Indriyas move toward the object, that is what I am craving for. And what this process does is it generates a distance between the sense organ and the observer. See, it is different from here. Also you say that if I do samadhi, then I am going to merge myself with the grahana, that is the process that is happening where my sense organ is touching the object and the shape my indriyas are taking, So very important is that Patanjali says before this that you have completely thinned out your vrittis. So when vrittis are not pure, vrittis are not removed, when chitta is not pure, and then you try to do the process, then you get more and more addicted. Like what Osho said, we had a debate that day, no? That can I merge myself completely into the object or into the sensation that the object is generating when I am using the object? Will I get freedom from it? Correct? So the same thing, Osho says that if you have a cigarette in your hand and you want freedom from cigarette, then you completely do samyama on the cigarette. And very slowly, you sip it. So you're taking every breath that you are taking, the sensation that it is generating, the calmness that it is generating, the tongue that is touching the object. You see what is happening within you. Calm, relaxation, deep expansion. And then you breathe out and relax. So if I do that, will you call it as a person who is doing samyama or samadhi on the grahana? And will it give Indriya Jaya? Will it make me Jitendriya? Indriya Jaya is Jitendriya. What do people have to say? डरो मत, आराम से बोलो जो लगता है. Don't think what I think. Tell what you feel. Huh? But in Grahana, he is telling, no, that see here, receptivity, Grahana, Swarupa in its own nature, you go deeper and deeper. So in the Grahana Sthiti, see, Grahya Sthiti object was there. In the Grahana Sthiti, senses are there. Senses are definitely involved, even in this state. Senses are involved in what Osho says also. Batao. No answer? कुछ तो बोलो आदिति.
I think it's not the act of doing, it's more like, let's say we see the sky and then merge ourselves in the sky, or as you said earlier, rose. So merge ourselves with the rose, thinking that this is also same, I'm also same. It's not about an act of doing something like that. I don't
No, no. Seeing a rose is an act of doing. No?
but there is difference between I'm not
You mean to say you just have to be passive? You can't be active? Like you can see or hear, but can you not taste? But okay, you definitely have to turn inwards. Turn inwards, get into the deeper aspects of it from the, as we did it in the Panchamahabhuta, from the Sthula to Sukshma, then towards its Anvayartha, what is its purpose, those deeper aspects. But it begins with that sense, that state only, no? Where the object and the senses are touching each other. It is beginning there or not? There.
starting with the
Starting of what Osho says, what Patanjali says is same. But then the process after that is what creates a difference. It is then that you either get bound or get liberated. Beginning is there. So in Svyasa, they used to do something called as chocolate meditation. You know this chocolate meditation? No. Actually, chocolate was there. So how is chocolate meditation done? You get the brand of chocolate that you like the most. You should definitely like chocolate. Dark chocolate चाहिए, कितना % dark चाहिए, सब आपके हिसाब से. So you get the best chocolate, then you open it, keep it in front of you. How many of you are already salivating? Okay, so you keep the chocolate. After keeping the chocolate, you have to watch. When you watch, your senses are touching the object, and there is now tongue. Among all the senses, tongue and the nose. Nose wants to smell it, tongue wants to touch it. They get activated. It means your prana, your energy starts moving toward these two sense organs. And with them goes your mind. Prana goes to the tongue. Behind prana, manomaya kosha also comes, pranamaya kosha also comes. Both manomaya, pranamaya kosha come to the annamaya kosha. And now they are looking towards the annam. Then you are not touching it. You are seeing it. You just have to see. So then the manas, the mind, starts becoming little restless. And the prana also starts becoming restless, and prana wants to bend forward, or it goes to the hand and wants the hand to go toward the object. So more prana comes towards the hand also. It wants to touch it now. Because initially it just wanted to eat, but you are not moving towards it. So now the manas sends it to the hand. So the hand should first touch it. So, but you have been told just to observe it. Then after some time, the manas, starts talking, telling. Completely it can do deshabandha chittasya dharana there. No problem. No distraction. Completely it can watch. And the only thought that is there in the mind is, I want it. And after a certain duration, if you are not allowed, then the mind says, why it is taking so much time? What kind of useless meditation this is? When will I eat it? I want to eat it. That kind of thing starts. So some restlessness, then after that it starts. Then you are allowed to touch. Now, as soon as you touch, mind becomes expanded. Remains for few seconds. After that, again it makes the prana go, and it wants the hand to now come back to the tongue. If the hand is stopped there, after some time again it becomes restless. You have to observe that restlessness. Then very gently get the chocolate closer. Do not eat it, you have to smell it. So from the nose, the fragrance of chocolate comes, the mind completely dissolves into that and just calms down and expands. Wow. Then it becomes very restless. It wants very quickly to get it into your mouth. You don't do it, restlessness increases. Prana goes, tongue starts salivating profusely. Too much prana. Then very slowly you take a very small bite. Keep it on your tongue and down. Keep it down. Now it is dissolving. You are completely in Savitarka Samadhi. The feeling, that sensation that chocolate is generating, the expansion, the bliss. So it remains. And once it is completely dissolved, once again the mind says, I want more. Your prana says more. And then if you are given a freedom after that, okay, eat. You take it. Speed increases. Fast. You just want to finish it. Becomes very difficult to slow down. धीरे करना बहुत मुश्किल. Natural tendencies, given a free let go, you eat it fast and finish it. So here there is a problem. The thing that we want is this expansion of the mind. But what we think is that chocolate is that expansion. So then I become more and more attached to chocolate, and I associate that chocolate means my liberation. Chocolate means the purpose of my life. Then what I will do? I will start buying more and more chocolates, eating them, and that overeating of chocolate will have its own consequences, caries or whatever, weight gain, diseases. So, and also the thing is, I will start binge eating. I will eat 5 chocolates at a time. I will only eat chocolates. And then what will happen? What will happen after that? After that, there will, come a phase where you will see, okay, enough. But then next day again you want. After 2-3 days again you want. And you are seeing that your dose requirement for chocolate is increasing. And now further you will reach a state where chocolate has just become a compulsion for you. You are no more enjoying it. You just want to eat it to feel normal, to feel okay. It is no more that liberating thing for you now. It is just that you want it. If it is not there, you get restless, you feel discomfort. Now what has happened? The object and the tongue have made you their slave. So the difference here, between what Patanjali says and what Osho says is that Patanjali says that you have to get into subtler and subtler aspects of when that happens. So when I took the object and I touched the chocolate for the first time, the sensation that it generated, the calmness that it generated, the state of my chitta, it is in that expansion that I had to slow down my breath, almost stopping my breath. And then, what is this sensation? Where is this fragrance of bliss coming from? Going more and more deep into that. The very sensation, I want to analyze it. I want to go to the very source of this bliss that comes from within me only. Two matter are touching each other. One is the electrons on my test bud and the electrons in the chocolate. They are touching each other. But what they are bringing forth is my expansion. What you call as bliss is a sudden state of expansion within me. That expansion happens because your asmita dissolves in that sensation. Why expansion happens? Because the observer dissolves in that sensation. Ultimately, whatever is the object, wherever the sense objects are meeting, you are ultimately from, see, initially what you did was vitarka, the color of object, shape of object, fragrance of object, smell of vitarka. Then vichara is the jnana associated with what information I have. I know it is going to be very pleasurable. I have some memory about it. But then from vitarka vichara, I get into ananda. My bliss from within me starts coming up now. But then the final state of savitarka samadhi is asmita. So in asmita, the observer dissolves and there is expansion. So please understand that when Patanjali says 4 stages of samadhi, it is within one process, all the 4 are happening, starting with vitarka, then vichara, then ananda, and then asmita. So the focus goes on the self rather than the sensation or the object. What is happening to the nature of the self? Who is the bhokta? भोगने वाला कौन है? Who am I? Who is this? From where is the origin of this bliss which is coming? That deep inquiry into that becomes the very objective of this meditation. It is then that it becomes liberating. If you do that deeper and deeper, deeper and deeper, you see reverse happens. The chocolate becomes a hindrance. Because you take the chocolate, it again draws you out. You can't go any more deep to inquire. So people take only one chocolate and for hours together they are into that deep. So then what they do? They start reducing the dose of chocolate. Because they observe that inner bliss that is there within me, if I myself explore, it is inversely proportional to how much I depend on the external object. This whole process has been described in Taittiriya Upanishad, and it is called as Ananda Mimamsa, the inquiry into the nature of happiness. So happiness is my own swarupa. And it comes when you are able to get into the depth of savitarka samadhi, the asmita. So definitely for happiness, you need yamas and niyamas. You need kshina vrittihi. And then, yes, Prakriti is for bhoga, but that bhoga is in the beginning, but after that, your turning inwards is the upvarga. So that is how it is bhoga upvarga. So just to give you a beginning, a hint that you have that bliss within you, to generate that curiosity in you, that if it is my own nature, if it is coming from within me, why is it that I do not have the key of unlocking this bliss? Why is the key in the chocolate? If it is within me, I should have the key, right? I should be able to unlock it whenever I want. But why is the key given to my tongue and to the chocolate? Is it possible that I can reach the same state with minimal chocolate? Or later, no chocolate at all? Or just the memory of chocolate? Then it gives freedom. So with the Osho way, Osho was correct up to here because it is written. But after that, probably, either people misunderstood Osho. I don't know. Osho would have spoken about it also. But the way people took it is they completely got into the object. They did Deshbandha Chittasya Dharana onto the object and completely forgot that aspect of getting into the subtler aspect of turning inwards. And it is then that it became a problem or a binding force. Okay. So this is very, very important to understand, very subtle differences and the approach that we take in dealing with the objects. So this is what I wanted to discuss about Samadhi today. And from next class, we will start going into the samayama on various things. Everywhere that samayama is happening, same process is being done. If it is on grahya, like on moon, then it is starting with observing the moon. But after that, it is going within, going into the sukshma, the anvaya, the artha, the very purpose, on the reflection of that object within. So always you begin outside, but you have to turn inwards. Otherwise, it is no samyam. If you keep on going more and more out, you will not get the true essence of that, because the smruti parishuddha will not happen. The observer bias will remain. So true nature of thing will never be revealed to you. Ultimately, even asmita dissolves. It is then that the true nature of the thing is revealed. So no samyama with asmita. And asmita can be very difficult to dissolve when you are external. Because with senses, observer always comes up. That is what science is also observing. So you have to touch the object beyond the senses, and then first touch the object with the senses, then focus on the reflection of that object within the chitta. After that, touch the object with the manas beyond the senses. Separate the shabda, jnana and artha of the object. Get into the very essence of the object, and then dissolve the asmita also into that, the very observer into that. It is then that, in reaction to that, a clear insight emerges from the depth of the heart, which tells you about the tattva of that object, which reveals the tattva to you. A layer of ignorance is removed, ajnana is removed, and jnana shines forth, and that is the samyama on that object. Okay? So if I do it on the moon, within my heart, I get a complete purpose of this Tara Mandalam and the whole existence, how they are serving the Purusha, and I understand the whole structure of Tara Vyuha Jnanam. It is an insight. It comes like a magic only. There is no logic. Please understand. You cannot say that, okay, after this step, I went into the universe inside, measured dimension, nothing. With a question you go, with Satkara Sevito, Drudabhum. Satkara Sevito, gratitude. You're not winning over the nature. Satkara, you go, you reach a state, you have a question. If you are doing samyama on the moon, you want to understand the essence of the moon. With a question, you are going inwards. And with that satkara sevito, when you go, ultimately, when you completely surrender yourself, then as a prasada, as a grace, you get your answer. There is no logic. All samyamas are like that. That's why people think by doing samyama on, like there are certain things like you do samyama on the touch of the light onto the body, and then the light that the body is absorbing will not be seen. So your question is, how does perception happen? No, very essence of how does eyes perceive? So that is revealed to you. Once you understand that science, how does perception happen, then you can keep your body in such a way that even if people are walking, they will not be able to perceive you. You understand? So it is in this way that these samyama is happening. And it will be very interesting in this chapter to see what is the result of every samyama is a humble question. And ultimately you surrender to nature that I do not know. And then nature reveals it to you. This is how you can gain knowledge about anything in this universe. First, what is the first requirement? No. First requirement is to have a very clear, precise question. Why we do not know many things is because our questions are fluctuating. Our vrittis do not allow our questions to become like an arrow. Always a clutter in the mind. You want to know also, you don't want to know also. Everything in life is like that. We want it and also we don't want it. Therefore, you don't get it. If you are very clear, I want to know. And that question becomes the very essence of your chitta. In your chitta, there is no other vritti but only that question. Then you have done dharana on that question. Then continuously your chitta will think about the shabda, jnana, artha, all those aspects related to that question. Continuously it will start naturally coming into your mind every time. Then you are doing dhyana on the question. Then like Archimedes, one day you are relaxed, completely merge into the question and you dissolve. Only the question remains. The questioner dissolves. And then it is a law that within you, like a great insight, the answer shines forth. That is Tadev Artha Matra Nirbhasam. Nirbhasam, Abhasam. Abha, uska prakash aata hai. Andar se aata hai. And you see, oh my God. And then after that, you got that answer, you are a changed person after that. You cannot remain the same. Because you in a state of that ignorance and now in a state of this jnana, the way you will behave, the way you will do things are completely changed. And this is the result of that samadhi. This is the result of that samyama in your life. So, if you have this one question, okay, this ananda that I get through the chocolate, is it possible that I get it without the chocolate or with minimal chocolate? What will be the result? You will get an insight about it. That insight will change you. And then you will have an access to an ananda without any object required. Then you as a personality are completely changed. No, now people know you don't have any weakness. Then you are a very strong personality. Now nobody will be able to, make you greedy or pull you in the directions which you don't want, including your senses. So it builds a very different character and personality. So personalities change off. after getting into samadhi completely. You will not even believe he is the same person. Oh my God, no. In childhood, he was such useless fellow. Now he is a, now he is like a new janma only, new life only. If I look myself only, I don't believe that I am the same person. Exactly what I used to say, believe, do, I do exactly opposite now. The most useless, ignorant fellow that I came across in my life was me in my 10th standard. Whole philosophy ulta. And that was leading to those sufferings also. But that time also I was so arrogant and confident that I am only right. So these spurts of insights, like a beautiful idol is made by cutting it. These insights just cut off your ego from different aspects and shape that divinity within you very beautiful. So yoga believes personality is plastic, completely plastic at any age. Last moment of death or near death experience sufficient. What happens in that near death experience? Ultimate surrender. Asmita, gone now. So much insight into life. They go into samadhi. Asmita dissolve. Different. Okay. So we come towards the end. Any questions?
व्यास भाष्य में समापत्ति और समाधि दोनों को एक सिनोनिम टाइप का उन्होंने लिया है, वहाँ पर जो व्याख्या करते हैं आप भी बता रहे थे, और पतंजलि ने भी कहीं कहीं समापत्ति लिखा है, कहीं कहीं समाधि कर दिया, तो exactly what is your comment regarding?
Good question. I think samapatti is more superficial than samadhi. क्योंकि समापत्ति में बोलता है कि क्षीण वृत्ति क्षीण हुआ है बोलता है, लेकिन समाधि में चित्त वृत्ति निरोध बोलता है, पूरा निरोध बोलता है।
पहले उन्होंने समापत्ति वर्ड का यूज किया है, उसके बाद के आगे के 3-4 सूत्रों में 1.46 में बोलते हैं ता एव सवित समाधि, कि पहले जो कहे गए जो हैं वो सब सवित समाधि के अंदर में आते हैं, वहां समाधि शब्द का उन्होंने यूज किया है, लेकिन पहले के जो 2 सूत्र हैं उसमें समाधि शब्द का यूज नहीं किया, समापत्ति शब्द का यूज किया है। तो
नहीं, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि समापत्ति में वृत्ति क्षीण होते हैं, लेकिन समाधि में पूरा निरोध हो जाता है, ऐसा मुझे। ओके, थैंक यू, बाय बाय।